With the NBA season almost halfway through, almost to the All-Star break, today we're going to get into some contenders and pretenders of NBA teams. We're going to go through what teams I think are legit and can make a legitimate run in the playoffs, and what teams don't even have a chance to make a legitimate run in the playoffs but will make it, and also teams that have no chance of making the playoffs, but we're going to give them silver linings. So let's get into it. First up, we're going to go through the Eastern Conference, the teams that are rebuilding and have no chance to making the playoffs, and we're going to give them some silver linings. First up, we got the Pacers. Now, the Pacers' silver lining is obviously they are in hold of their own draft pick this year, which is very good, being that they are 11-35 in the Eastern Conference and are sitting at the bottom. Now, as I'm recording this, the night of, they actually beat OKC today, which is actually kind of crazy. But winning has not been a constant trend for this team at all. And for their silver linings is they're obviously very, very likely to get a very good draft pick this year if the lottery goes their way. Getting a guy like Darren Peterson or even Cameron Boozer, AJ DeBanto would be very, very good for this team, and they could be very scary if they get a legitimate center that Howie can throw lobs to. And then my other silver lining for them is Howie comes back next season, so this team could be a legitimate contender next season. Going on to number 2, the team that has no chance is obviously the Wizards. Now, the Wizards' silver lining is that Trae Young is going to play next year. I know he's not going to really play much this year because they want to keep a hold of that pick that they have a top 8 protected on. And that being, if they get a good pick this year in this draft, I think the rebuilding stage of the Wizards is going to be over and they're going to be making some legitimate noise and trying to make the playoffs next year. Next team up I have is the Nets. And the Nets' silver lining is going to be they have that MPJ trade value and he has been hooping. So I think they want to sell high. I would sell high if I were them on MPJ and see what you can get, maybe more draft capital, and then rebuild again next year and have these young guys that y'all have develop. And then next team up that have no chance, obviously, is going to be the Hornets. Now, the Hornets have been playing somewhat decent. I mean, the game that I watched the other night, LaMelo went for like 2 points on 1 of 15 shooting, not great. But they have a very intriguing young team that has a promising future with Contenders, LaMelo, and Brandon Miller. So this can be a fun team to watch in the future, but definitely not making a playoff push this year, that's for sure. And now for the Western Conference team that have no chance. First up, we're going to talk about the Pelicans, and the Pelicans' silver lining is obviously just Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. Those are legitimately the only silver linings I could put for the Pelicans. Like, this team is in a crazy spot that really no other team is in right now. Well, I mean, besides the Kings, which we're going to talk about in a second. But yeah, the Pelicans, I mean, Derek Queen is a great, great player, but trading that pick away was really detrimental for this team because that is going to be a great pick for the Hawks, and they do not want to budge on that pick at all. But yeah, man, let me know in the comments what y'all think about the Pelicans and what they're going to do in the future. Next team we're going to get into is the Kings, and very little trade value in their aging stars is going to be the silver lining I have for this team, but some trade value. I do think some teams would be interested in Zach LaVine, like maybe like the Bucks that are desperate to keep Giannis. And even though he got injured tonight as I'm recording this, who knows what that injury is going to be. They're going to do an MRI and he can miss 6 weeks. But yeah, man, I don't think there is a very bright future ahead of this Kings organization. I can't trust this front office to rebuild. And they had that one good season where all those fans had hope that they were going to do good. They had a playoff run. And then since then, it's just been horrible, man. And then next up, I have the Jazz. Their silver linings are going to be very promising young team and a great chance for a high draft pick. And Keontae George has had a breakout season. He dropped like 45 the other night. He's been great, a fun player to watch, and he's going to be great to build around. Next up, I have the Mavs on here. Is either Mavs be here or pretenders? I don't really think they're pretenders because I don't really see them making or trying to make a playoff push this year. But the silver linings I have for the Mavs is Cooper Flag. He looks like the guy to build around. He is so fun to watch, man. And then Kyrie's return in 2026, 2027, plus AD's return or AD's trade value. Either they trade him or they send him the rest of the year next to Kyrie and they just take a crack at it next season. I mean, a healthy Mavs team, man, it might be fun, but it's just the health. That's all it is. And then I'm actually going to change my list. I'm going to add the Bucks to the Western Conference teams that have no chance. Giannis just went down with a non-contact injury, and they lost to a Nuggets team tonight that have 0 stars. They had no stars playing. Their whole starting lineup was not playing, and Giannis was, and the Bucks still lost, man. And without Giannis, this Bucks team is not winning anything. Like, they are horrible. I'm going to add the Bucks to this Western Conference tier list that is just going to be silver linings. I mean, the silver lining is Giannis. Like, that's it. I mean, this Bucks squad is not fun to watch, and they've just looked trash, man. I don't know what they're going to do. Doc Rivers looks like he doesn't know what he's doing half the time coaching this team. Let me know if y'all think Giannis is going to request a trade at the end of the season. I don't know. It's not looking good. All right, now we're going to get into the pretenders of the Eastern Conference. First up I have here is the Hawks. I mean, they're a decent team. Jalen Johnson looks really good as of late, but missing another star is really detrimental to this team. I really think they need to use that cap this season if they want to make a playoff push, and they haven't. So that's why I have them as pretenders. I mean, if they don't make a push this season and get a star, I think the offseason they definitely will use that cap space that they freed up at the end of CJ McCollum's contract. That's why they got that expiring deal and trading Trae Young. Let me know who y'all think the Hawks are going to pick up at the end of the season, man. And do y'all think they're going to do good next year? Next up, I have the Bulls as a pretender. The Bulls are just going to be the Bulls, man. They're going to win around, they're going to be a little bit above 500. They're going to make the play-in, and then they're going to lose. I mean, that's all this Bulls team has done over the past couple years. And this core that they have, I mean, it's fun to watch. And Matas Buzelis is really fun to watch. But this front office really pisses me off. They don't make any trades. Nikola Vucevic is still on this team for some reason. He's probably just going to end up leaving for nothing by the way this front office runs this team, man. Next team up I have is the Heat. And in my opinion, I think the Heat are in the same situation as the Hawks. I really think they need a star on this team to really make a deep playoff push. That's why I kind of have them as the pretenders. They're a really fun team to watch, man. I love watching Davion Mitchell. He's straight up 3-and-D, and he can drive to the rim, and Bam is super fun to watch on the defensive end and the offensive end if he's doing good. I mean, he's been struggling as of late, but he's starting to pick it back up. They have the 7th best defense in the league, but they really need another star to elevate this team. That's why I have them on the pretenders. Next team up I have is the Magic. And the injuries all season have just been really detrimental to this team. With the team having super high hopes, I mean, people had them winning the Eastern Conference this year. And then Paolo got off to that weird start at the beginning of the season. Jalen Suggs has been in and out of the lineup with an injury. I mean, for a team that had really high hopes going into the season from the fans and everything in the NBA, I think being 500 right now, that's an L, man. Gave up so much to get some three-point shooting on this team, and I don't think being 500 is going to cut it for this team. I don't see them making a run in the playoffs. Next team up I have is the Cavs. And I know Darius Garland has been in and out of the lineup with an injury. He got injured again recently. But Donovan Mitchell cannot have a bad night. If he kind of struggles on the field, this team looks horrible, man. I mean, they were one of the best teams last year at the top of the Eastern Conference. And then they just fell apart in the playoffs, being injuries and all sorts of things. But taking that into consideration that they were one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference last year and they still had a weak playoff push, them being the 6th team in the Eastern Conference right now, that's why I have them as a pretender, because I cannot trust this team in the playoffs. All right, now we're going to get into the contenders of the Eastern Conference. And first team up I have is actually the 76ers. They have looked pretty decent this year, but Tyrese Maxey, man, he has really made an emergence this year, being an all-star starter. And looking at this team, they're actually kind of deep. They have Quentin Grimes coming off the bench. And if Paul George and Joel Embiid can stay healthy, and I know staying healthy for them is very, very rough, being that they're getting up there in age. But man, if those two guys can stay healthy and actually produce, you got Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. Man, I see this team making some noise, if healthy, in the playoffs. Next contender I have up in the Eastern Conference is the Raptors. Now, this team, being 27-19, has actually looked apart this season. There was a bunch of questions at the beginning of the season. Were they going to be good or were they going to be bad? No one really knew. They were kind of just in the middle of the pack. But I think they're one game behind the Knicks in the Eastern Conference. Scottie is definitely going to be an all-star, and Brandon Ingram has looked great. But the only thing with this team is they have those 2 bad contracts with Quickly and Portal. And they could really use another center on this team. But besides that, man, this team has looked fun. And this team is going to be pretty good in the playoffs with this weak Eastern Conference for sure. Next team up I have is the Knicks. The Knicks are actually 3-7 in their last 10 and have really struggled. But, dude, I mean, this Knicks team is loaded with their starting 5. And they've been dealing with the injuries of Brunson and Josh Hart. Brunson just came back recently. But yeah, I definitely see this team making a push in the playoffs despite the in-season struggles right now, especially being in the East. And also, Cat has really struggled this year, but I think he'll figure it out. He's a veteran, so I think he'll definitely figure it out. And then next contender I have is the Celtics. Jaylen Brown has looked great being an all-star starter. He's almost put up 30 this year with no Jason Tatum, and Simons actually dropped like 45 off the bench last couple games ago. He has also looked very good. There was talk he was going to get traded, but after doing that, I don't know if you can trade him. The centers that they do have has actually stepped up. So that was a big question going into the offseason. But as I'm recording this right now, they're second in the East and no Jason Tatum, and he's looking to return this season. So I definitely think this team can make a playoff push, and we'll see. This Eastern Conference it's going to be fun in the playoffs, man. And then last but certainly not least on this list, I have the Pistons. This Pistons team has really turned it around from a couple seasons ago, losing a record-breaking like 28 games in a row to now being the first in the Eastern Conference and first in defensive rating of all the NBA. Cade being an all-star starter and Tobias Harris looking great for them. Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart being very good on defense and being those lob threats for Cade. Ron Holling bringing that defensive energy. I know he hasn't really been producing on the offensive side, but they really need another scorer besides Cade on this team. Like they had Dennis Schroeder last year, and he's really helped. He did really help last year, and they lost Tim Hardaway Jr., and they also lost Beasley. But if this team were to get another scorer, I know they're first in the Eastern Conference, but if they were to just get another scorer on this team that can come off the bench, man, this team, I see them definitely going to the NBA championship. I mean, I have them. They're my favorite right now going to the NBA championship. Let me know what y'all think, though. And now we're going to get into the pretenders of the Western Conference. First team up I have is the Grizzlies. Man, I don't know what this Grizzlies team is doing, but it looks like they're ready to blow it up, saying that Ja Morant is definitely, they're open to trading Ja Morant, and I think they're open to trading Triple J too, which if those two guys get traded, no, they're not making a playoff push, and they're going to be in a rebuild. Zero title aspirations for this team this year. Next team up I have is the Clippers. Now, I know, they have been 8-2 in their last 10, and they have been really stepping it up. But their start to the season was so bad, I don't know if they can dig themselves out of this hole. And plus, Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, I know James Harden has been healthy as of late, but Kawhi Leonard, I can't really trust him being healthy, man. I can't really rely on them playing in a 7-game series with this team because they're old, man. They're old. And that's why I have them as a pretender. Next team up I have is the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers have definitely looked better. Like, they're making improvements every season. Donovan Clingan has looked great. But, I mean, Dame isn't playing this year, and Drew being hurt. I really think they're going to be trying to aim to win next season. I mean, they want to win right now, too. But Scoot has also been hurt, and we have no idea what he's going to look like when he comes back. But I think definitely next year they might be a contender, but not this year. Next team up I have is the Warriors. Man, this Warriors team, I really feel bad for Steph. Jimmy going down, and he's out for the season. They lost to the Mavs last night, and Curry had a great game, and they still lost, and this Mavs team is depleted. They could make a move if Jimmy Butler wasn't getting 30% of their cap. They have no room for trades besides Kuminga, and are they even going to trade Kuminga if they want to make a playoff push? Like, this situation that they have with Kuminga is so weird. This team is definitely not a contender. And then last pretender I have up is actually the Lakers. The Lakers need to make some kind of trade to get some defensive side on this Lakers team. You don't have to worry about scoring. You have the best scorer in the league, in my opinion, being Luka Doncic. They got handed Luka Doncic. Okay, so now go and build around him. Go get a guy like Herb Jones or something. I know the Pelicans say he's untouchable, but nobody's actually untouchable. They need to get some defensive player on next to Luka that they can actually make a playoff push. I don't see this team making a playoff push without that. I mean, DeAndre Ayton has not looked good this year at all. And LeBron opted into his $50 million player option, which he didn't want to help the Lakers that much if he opted into that. So I don't know how they're going to make a move, but they need to make a move for some defense on this Lakers squad. Now getting into the Western Conference contenders. And man, this Western Conference is pretty stacked. First team up I have is the Wolves. I mean, despite being 7th in this stacked Western Conference, they're a really good team, but I do think they could use a point guard to elevate this team even more. I mean, they thought their guy was going to be Rob Dillingham, and he just hasn't been panning out in the NBA. But, I mean, they got old man Mike handling the rock back there, so they really need a point guard. But if they can get a point guard and make a trade for not losing too much of their core, I think A point guard next to Ant-Man would really help this team. And I do think they're a contender right now, but that would even elevate them more. The second team up I have is the Suns. This team is really proving everybody wrong. Nobody had the Suns team being good this year. And they're good this year without even Jalen Green playing. He just came back from injury, and they're fifth in the West because of this guy, Dylan Brooks, averaging around 25. D-Book is playing good, obviously, and Allen's three-point shooting is very reliable, and Mark Williams has been a great center for this team. This team has really, really been outproducing, man. This team is very good. Third team up I have is the Rockets. This team is definitely missing Fred VanVleet. I know that for a fact, but despite that, they have looked very good, and I can't count a roster out with KD on the team. They're fourth in the West right now, and this team is definitely just going to make a great playoff push. Their defense is very good with Amin Thompson and Tari Eason back there. And I know Steven Adams just got hurt, but that double center thing they do with him and Sengun, they just get all these offensive boards, and they are a very good team. Fourth team up I have up as a contender is the Nuggets. Without Jokic, they are 8-3 in their last 11. That says a lot about Jamal Murray, and Jamal Murray didn't even play today or last night or whatever, and they still beat the Giannis-led Bucks. This team is deep with Peyton Watson, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon playing amazing. Tim Hardaway Jr. is producing. Bruce Brown is producing. And this is all without Jokic playing. This team is very good, and I have them higher up than OKC. I really think that they're going to make it to the championship. But this team is stacked, man, and they're very fun to watch. They play real basketball. Next team I have up is the Spurs. The Spurs are also very fun to watch. They have all these young guards and Wemby playing together. It's super fun. They're very deep. They have a top 5 player in Wemby, and if he can stay relatively healthy, I think this team can make it far. The only thing I worry about with this team is their lack of experience. I mean, they have some veterans on this team, like Kelly Olynyk's kind of a veteran. He hasn't been playing, obviously, because they don't need him to play. And then you got Harrison Barnes back there. So they have some veteran presence in the locker room, but that's the only thing I worry about with this team is just the lack of experience. And then finally, we have the Thunder. And obviously they're a contender despite their struggles as of late. They actually lost to the Pacers today, which is kind of weird, but they're obviously a contender, man. I mean, they did lose J-Dub to injury again, but Chet has been putting up career numbers, and he's probably an all-star this year because the OKC Thunder are probably going to get 2 all-stars. But they have a top 2 defense and a top 5 offense in the NBA. This team definitely has championship aspirations, and they're definitely trying to run back. But yeah, man, and when I was talking about these contenders for both these conferences, the numbers I was saying, they weren't in a certain order. They were kind of just, I was saying number 1 team I have, number 2 team I have. They weren't in a certain order or anything, but let me know what y'all think of my list and what y'all agree with, what y'all disagree with. And this is pre-trade deadline, so this could literally change in 2 weeks, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, man, hope y'all enjoyed, and catch you on the next one. Appreciate it, guys.